Hello everyone, my name is Steve Studelsky. I'm the platform manager for the Galvanic Applied Sciences FPA 4100 photometer series. Today I'll be presenting an introduction to the Galvanic FPA 4100 photometer. We'll cover the measurement theory, analyzer design, and installation and maintenance. The FPA 4100 is a two-part design. It has a flow cell connected via fiber optics cables to the FPA 4100 transmitter. There's a photometer that's available in the ultraviolet or visible spectrum, depending on applications. It is our third generation platform of this device. We have over 30 years of installations, and we offer the best price to performance ratio available on the market today. The FPA 4100 was designed for measurement certainty in process control and environmental compliance applications. It uses an external flow cell connected again via fiber optic cables for easily accessible components and minimal maintenance time. It's multi-stream capable, up to 8 channels or 8 sample streams. It is available custom made with custom weighted parts for the compatibility with your sample stream, again, which will create minimal maintenance. It's available for hazardous area certification, Div 2 Zone 1 without a purge, so it simplifies installation. We have wide measurement ranges from methods for ppm to percent level, so we can serve many applications in the field. We're going to take a look at some of the industries and key applications that we use 4100 on. Petrochemical for stack emissions in gas phase SO2, as well as in natural gas at gathering well to do H2S. In refineries, it's used for oil and water applications for unsaturated hydrocarbons. Metals in mining, we do some copper ore acid extraction or ion exchange resin applications, measuring either copper sulfate or cobalt sulfate. Chloralkali, we use this in the brine purification stage to look at chlorine value. In food and beverage, in CIP or clean in place, where chlorine is used to clean the sample piping, we do chlorine value. In water treatment effluent, we can do nitrate and haze and color. And in wastewater treatment, we offer the analyzer to be used in deodorization towers to control the chlorine or hypochlorite value. And we can also measure organics using UV 254. So this measurement works by a direct absorption. There's no reagents used. It is one specific measurement wavelength and one reference wavelength compensation to compensate for lamp aging, bubbles present in the sample, or turbidity, particulates in the sample. We use application-specific light source, and the intensity is proportional to the concentration. It's a simple Beer-Lambert's law measurement. So as you can see, the way that it works is we have a sample source on one side via fiber optic, passes through the sample, and then is bifurcated to the reference filter or filter number 1 in the measurement filter, filter number 2 in front of the 2 detectors. Some considerations that we take when we are offering this device is we look at what the method is, and dependent on the range that we will determine what wavelength of filter and what lamp we use, what the optical path length is, which is the window to window distance across the flow cell. A larger window to window or optical path allows us to have much more sensitivity than a short path because it gives us a greater amount of absorption per change in ppm. We look at the sample phases, we have to look at interferences, and as you can see in the chart to the right, here's some examples of different wavelengths that we use for different ranges in their molar absorptivity. We offer the source lamps as zinc, cadmium, mercury, bisphosphor, or tungsten for the visual. So tungsten is for visual, and all the ones above that are in the UV range. Here's a simple photo to take a look at showing a 2 or 3 stream analyzer where we have the flow cell mounted to the panel and 3 sample valves below it on a common rail manifold, which we control by the FPA 4100 transmitter. So when sample 1 wants to be analyzed, it will energize, run through the sequence, flow through the cell, and do the measurement. Then subsequently, sample 2 is energized, it is analyzed. After it's done, sample 3 is analyzed. So this allows for really good flexibility where we can measure up to 8 of these sample streams if we need to. We can also do a cleaning sequence where one of these valves could be on either pressurized city water or deionized water. We can do remote stream switching. I mean, it's really endless, the amount of control that we have with this controller. Here we're going to talk a little bit about different gas measurements that we do and how this works. So when we do gas measurements, obviously we have to take into consideration the pressure of the sample. So we have a pressure transmitter and we do pressure compensation and also temperature compensation by having a temperature transmitter mounted on the flow cell, off of the flow cell line. We obviously would require a sample pressurization. We need to flow through the cell, and we do not need vacuum on the sample return. So it's simply pressure in and out of the sample. As long as there's a differential in pressure between the two, we will have sample flow in and out of the cell, which is required. When we're doing gas analysis, because it's such deep UV, we do use what's called an anti-solarant chamber. And what this does is protects the fiber optic from aging from the deep UV always being on it. So here we're looking at the photonics board showing a lamp block, which is on the top, which is that aluminum silver block with the yellow wire coming out of it. That's actually the mercury lamp. The fiber optic off to the side is now taking this down through the cell, and then coming back is those 4 circled lines, which are the dual reference and dual measurement detectors. So mercury lamps are temperature sensitive. So that being said, we stabilize the temperature of that lamp block to 60 degrees C, which allows, if possible, if we have to, we can still do enclosure purging, and that air will not affect it because we stabilize the temperature on the lamp. We offer lamp compensation because these lamps are notorious to drift. So we can have a second fiber bundle that actually monitors lamp intensity, and we can compensate for this drift. In doing so, maintains our accuracy for our sample analysis. So here we're talking about the measurement and sample requirements. So our cells, we're looking for anything up to 300 psi at 25 degrees C, and a total high temperature of less than 200 degrees C. Material of construction of the flow cell, we offer standard is 316 stainless steel. We can offer them out of other metals, and we also offer a standard for some liquid applications in the Kynar material. O-rings, we offer Viton as standard, and Calres as an upgrade depending on sample compatibility issues. In the fiber optic bundles, standard is PVC coated, and if required for the application, we can offer the more robust 316 stainless steel coated or clad fiber optics. As far as the enclosure goes for the unit, our standard is a painted 304 stainless steel, or we offer it in the explosion proof device, which you can see on the right hand side. That's a NEMA 7 cast aluminum enclosure. Utilities required is 24 volts DC or 90 to 240 volts AC. During operation, it consumes 30 watts. As you can see, we have the North American Class 1 Div 2 certification, as well as ATEX IECX for Zone 1. As you can see, it's a 2-part design inside, where on the top we have the motherboard or the controller board and power supply, and mounted to the display door you have the display with the ribbon cable connected to the motherboard. And below that we have a second inner enclosure where we put the photonics board. We want to keep the temperature uniform, so we heat the blocks of both the photometer, photodetectors, and the photometer lamp block. and that is actually covered. As you can see, there's some screw holes there. There's actual cover that covers the photonics board to keep the heat at a very stable temperature. We offer standard 6 analog outputs, 2 analog inputs, Modbus communication, various digital inputs, and up to 6 programmable relays for your discretion. Control is done through the Galvanic membrane keypad. It's got a local display. You can also connect a PC to this through USB on the front panel to do all changes that's required. Calibration, setting the span of the analog outputs, or going in and programming an alarm relay, or looking at the status of the analyzer. Here's a couple pictures of installations that we've done. So as you can see on the left-hand side, this was a sample that had to be heat traced. So the flow cell is all encapsulated in thermal encapsulation. The middle photo looks like just a standard general purpose analyzer. A couple more that we have here. Take a look at. Looks like the middle one, that was a Div 1 or Class 1 application and a NEMA 7 outer enclosure. Maintenance on this analyzer is relatively small. Weekly, we say to start off with, do an automatic zero and span update. Quarterly, replace, if it's a gas application, replace the anti-solarant fluid. Annually, go in and inspect the O-rings or replace the O-rings as required. And depending on application and ambient temperature where it's located, 1 to 2 years, replace as needed the lamp source and the optical filters. Here's just an expanded diagram of the actual flow cell with the culminating lenses with the fiber optics attached, and some of where the windows are located and the O-rings that show the seal. So as you can see, it's just Allen screws to remove, and the cell comes apart on each side, and you can go in there and clean windows or clean the cell out, replace O-rings. So it's really user-friendly, very easy with standard hand tools. Like all Galvanic products, we offer local on-site startups and trainings or preventative maintenance or factory acceptance tests, new order placement time at our factory. So why the FPA 4100? Well, we have hazardous area certification, Div 2 Zone 1 without a purge, multi-stream capable, as opposed to having separate analyzers for each stream. Material of construction, we can customize this per the customer requirements. We're not a off-the-shelf design in that way. We'll make it out of anything that's available on the market as long as our machine shop can machine the cell. Some of the what-if scenarios, maintenance required. It's very easily accessible, that external flow cell. So not a time-consuming process to do any of that maintenance. Easy to reconfigure right on site. It does not have to be sent in to us. We can walk you through this on the phone, or you can do it yourself as long as you've been trained. Wide ambient temperature ranges. So if it's indoors and the HVAC fails, not an issue. Here at Galvanic, we offer many different solutions. Here's an example of an oil and water application. So obviously, we do this also with the Monotech ultrasonic that we offer here at Galvanic. So typically in low range, up to about 500 ppm, we would choose the FPA doing UV photometry. Anything higher than that, usually we're going to offer a Monotech ultrasonic, just because the windows would get too contaminated on the FPA. So on the higher range, we're generally saying anything above 500 ppm, we start thinking about using Monotech ultrasonic. The FPA, here's the difference, that we can obviously do multi-stream, ultrasonic, single stream. Sensor configuration is typically, quarter-inch tubing slipstream device, where Monotech ultrasonic, if they want to be at full line size or pressures, it just is an insertable probe, so it can go right onto that and not require any slipstream. We have certification IECX, ATEX, CSA Div 2 for example. The same also with the Monitech Ultrasonic. There can be interferences for both, and we have to choose what works best based on the application data sheet. Again, response time is the same, and price point, they're quite similar. Here's some more examples, some different applications we do where we have different devices to offer the same for H2S. So we have the AccuLaser tuned diode laser. We offer the lead acetate tape analyzer. We offer the AccuChrome and the sulfur chrome. So as you see, we have a lot of different ways to do the same type of measurement. The more information that we get from the customer, the better, because it helps us choose the exact, the correct fit. So we look at some upgrades. There probably is a lot of FPA 1100s, which was the precursor to this. As you can see, the differences here, single stream only, up to 8 streams, much higher temperature, and it comes in a stainless steel as opposed to a standard cold rolled steel enclosure that's painted. So much better in corrosive environments. There was no data logging on the FPA, and we can do up to 10 months of data collection in the 4100. Outputs were only 4 to 20, as opposed to FPA, which includes 4 to 20 as well as Modbus Ethernet GUI. But what is nice is the flow cells have not changed, they're the same. So if a customer has an existing 1100, we can upgrade them and just simply provide them the 4100 transmitter. And there's some cost saving there, so they don't have to purchase a new cell or new fiber optics. With all Galvanic products, we offer measurement certainty. So we're looking at rapid return on investment. It will quickly identify expensive process upsets. It takes the human error out from manual testing, eliminates the hazards of getting a grab sample and suiting up or bringing that into the lab. So all that associated with it is gone because it sits out there in the process unit and does it. Reduce cost, so that will reduce your costs, and it's a very precise measurement. And if it's used for certain dosing control applications, so it's very fast and it reduces costs. That's really key on that device. Optimize environmental compliance is another big one for environmental measurements that we're doing, which would be, for example, like wastewater outlet from a plant where they're looking at oil and water prior to municipal sewer. Obviously, Galvanic helps you in those ways to protect. And we've been doing this 40 years now in really difficult applications. Again, any questions? If it's a liquid application, there's actually 2 product managers. So there's myself and Parisha. And for gas applications, that's what she handles. Obviously, your local representative can help you, or come down to our regional sales managers that work closely with the local representative in your territory.